Today I'd like to review and analyze for y'all a movie that I recently saw entitled No Escape. Now, it seems that there are at least two movies with this rather generic title, No Escape. There are probably more than two, but it came to my attention while I was looking up some stuff on this movie that there is a film called No Escape that was released in 2020. This is the one that I'm talking about here is the one that was released in 2015, starring Owen Wilson. I remembered seeing the previews for this movie, and I remembered thinking to myself, I don't want to see that movie. That looks really distressing. It looks like it'll just put me through an emotional ringer that I don't really want to be put through. So I didn't see it. That was the reason why I didn't see it. And then for some reason I forgot. Recently, I just was, I don't know, scrolling around, and I found it uh, online and read the premise, and I said, I kind of remember that movie, and I kind of remember not seeing it because I didn't really want to, but now, you know what, I'm going to watch it now. So I don't know what that says about me. But I think what intrigues me the most about this movie is just the propagandistic effect of this movie, because this this seems like a movie that would have been really controversial. It plays on the fears of primarily white Westerners. I guess you don't necessarily have to be white to relate to the family, the unfortunate family that finds itself in this terrible predicament in the movie, but the family is this ideal sort of nice white family. Owen Wilson's the dad. I don't know who the actress is that plays the mom, but they have two daughters. Owen Wilson's seems like just this nice guy, kind of fun dad, kind of what you'd expect Owen Wilson to play. But this is not a comedy, of course. This was Owen Wilson kind of, I don't know, deciding to take a different career course. I'm not sure what prompted him to take this role. Now he has. I remember that like back in the maybe the early aughts, that he was in some movie about where he played a fighter pilot who crashes in Serbia during the Serbian conflict, and then is pursued by menacing Serbs. And thinking back now, that was definitely a propaganda piece, no doubt about it. I can't remember the title of that one right now, but I'm remembering it just in my from my cinematic memory banks. This one also seems to be serving some kind of propagandistic function, and let me explain what happens, what it's about. So Owen Wilson works for some he's an electrician or not an electrician. He's someone who works in the water industry, the water purification industry, and he gets in kind of a, for some reason it's some contrived thing that happens where he gets in this jam, and he's finds himself unemployed, and then he's offered this job, which is fairly lucrative, which involves traveling to some uh, some South Asian country. I don't think the country is ever named, um, although I might be wrong. I've read some reviews saying that it's Thailand, but I don't remember anyone ever saying anything about it being Thailand or anything like that. I don't think it's supposed to be. I don't think we're supposed to know the name of the place, or I don't think it's supposed to be a um, a real place per se. It's supposed to be a stand-in for South Asian countries generally. So he and his nice family, um, his two charming daughters. One of them is a little bit temperamental. Um, One of them has a teddy bear that she always has to have with her. Um, so they travel as a family to, you can see the 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 traps being set already. You can see where it's going. It's sort of like the Chekhov gun thing. Um, there's a child with a teddy bear, kind of I can't remember if it was a bear, if it was something else, but something that she loves that she always has to have with her at all times. That stuffed animal is going to play a role in in some crucial suspenseful part of the movie. So they travel to this South Asian country. They're put up at this fancy hotel, but everything seems to be on the blink. Um, the television's not working. The electricity is sporadic. And what soon unfolds is that this nation is experiencing some grave turmoil, and eventually an angry and murderous mob, uh, congregates around their hotel, um, and they break in and they start just murdering the Westerners who are staying in this hotel. And so Owen Wilson has to try to lead his family away from the danger, but they go through one traumatic situation after another, and it's pretty over the top. Um, I mean, I guess you could say it's it's gripping in the sense that it's suspenseful, um, but I think it's more manipulative, I would say, than um, inventive. For example, there's a scene where these this murderous gang of would-be revolutionaries, these men wearing masks, um, they make their way to the roof of the hotel, which is where the rest of the people, who are trying to get away from them, have gone, and the police force seems to be neutralized. There's no help coming from anywhere, um, and these men, as it turns out, are angry because this Western Water Company came in and took the jobs away from the locals, and took the jobs and the money away from the locals and put it in the hands of this multinational conglomerate that Owen Wilson is working for. So he unknowingly, unwittingly put himself in this volatile political situation where the company moving into this country and taking over the the realm of the managing their water supply has uh, has angered a great many people in the country, um, because of they see it as a blatantly imperialist move, and taking taking the jobs and taking the money away from the locals. So hence their murderous rage. So the family actually has to jump from one building to another. Um, and he has to throw his two daughters. His wife jumps first, and it's like, it's not an easy jump. It's not a jump that it's like, it's not something where you necessarily are going to be able to clear it. And it's like 15 stories up, so it's pretty terrifying. And then he has to throw his daughters to her, and she has to catch them, and then he has to jump. um, and then they're not out of the soup yet. It just one thing after another, and seeing these two kids in the midst. I think if it were just uh, this Owen Wilson and his wife, um, that would be one thing. But having all of these awful, deeply traumatic, near death situations take place with these children, these two young girls, is very difficult, I find, to watch, and kind of pushes the bounds of what's necessarily what I necessarily would find acceptable. I think it pushes us into the manipulative uh, territory. That's my assessment, anyway. And so what we have in this movie are, you know, gangs of roving, murderous Asian thugs, um, wiping out, shooting and otherwise um, doing grave bodily harm to mostly Western uh, um, tourists or members of this people who are affiliated with this corporation or whatever it is. Pierce Brosnan shows up. He's this sort of mercenary rogue uh, uh, who turns out to be sort of a good guy, but sort of a complicated good guy, in that he's the one who he says eventually gets revealed. He did the dirty work of like his job is to uh, manage these deals where he schnookers the locals into taking in this deal, this foreign conglomerate, uh, and and gets them to sign up for this deal that ultimately is not to the benefit of the people of their country. Um, so there's like this element of, oh well, here's this conscience. We should feel bad about. We should feel guilty. We should have white guilt about Western imperialism and all that. There's a little dollop of that, but mostly what we have are these menacing gangs of Asian men, um, uh, just relentlessly and mercilessly butchering people. Um, and this white Western family, very nice, very the sort of folks that we could either see ourselves as, or we could see them as they could be friends of ours. They're just a very relatable family. They're not perfect, but they're you know they obviously love. There's obviously a great love there and between them, even though there are some things that they're not always in agreement about, and they fight just like any other family does. But I found that by the time this movie was over, I was just wondering who made. This was a big Hollywood movie. This was made with a lot of money, with a couple of big name stars: Pierce Brosnan, Owen Wilson. Um, so So, why was this movie made? And it does seem to serve, a kind of propagandistic value, although it tries to kind of play both sides of the net. Closer to the end, it has Pierce Brosnan say, "Well, we're really the bad guys here, and those men, they're just trying to protect their families, and their country from exploitation." But most of what we see, that's kind of a cop out, really, because most of what we see in the movie is um, these Asian gangs just being absolutely brutal and uh, and brutalizing and murdering and maiming uh, not just white tourists and rich richer folks from the West, but largely just people who are wealthy enough to stay at this fancy hotel where they've put up his family. And so I don't know, like the end message seems to be in some way saying, yeah, corporations are to blame for a lot of bad things, but the visceral response it evokes from us is to be on the side of this nice family that's just caught in this um, caught in the crossfire, really. Or Owen Wilson's character is he's targeted because they have pictures of him and they know that he works for this company, so they're after him. They want to kill him and they want to kill his family. So that really doesn't show uh, these um, foreign insurgents, this rebellion in this uh, uh, South Asian country, doesn't show it in any kind of positive light whatsoever. Um, Ultimately, they are rescued by, and I guess this is a sort of a spoiler, but they're rescued when they cross the border into Vietnam, and it's supposed to be, I guess, kind of ironic that once they're in Vietnam, it's the rebels can't cross the border, or that would cause an international incident if they started firing across the border. So they have to retreat. So I suppose there's something um, meant to be ironic about that, given that it's Vietnam, given the history of the United States involvement in Vietnam and so forth. But anyway, uh, it's a very unsettling movie. It's a very, um, as I said, I mean, my instincts were completely correct. It's a movie that really plays with plays upon your deep gut fears, in a very, I would say, in a rather irresponsible way. Especially just how it involves these two children in everything. So I have a kind of, there's something in me that's kind of has an ick response to this movie. Um, be interested to hear if anybody else has seen it, if anybody else has any thoughts on it. Thanks for watching.